Right, because it's got to be like expired sushi from 7-Eleven. He's not going to give him the good shit.
Does that exist?
Yeah, go to a 7-Eleven. I guarantee there's sushi somewhere in that piece of shit.
Oh, fuck that. In the beginning, there was baseball. It is January 8th, 2020. It is episode number 1 of our second season of 27 Down. I am CJ on Twitter at CJ in Pinstripes. I am flanked by the always effervescent Evan. How we doing there?
I'm doing pretty good. This is 27 Down, perfect podcast for the perfect game. You can follow me at Evan D. Wetzel 4 on Twitter as well.
All right. It's good to be back. We went on a little bit of a holiday season hiatus.
Yep.
Good recharged batteries.
For sure.
Just basically do nothing all day. I haven't been on Twitter in a while. The lights are dimming, and now we're going to die.
Whoa.
All right, this is where rape happens. Sorry. What I meant to say was it's good to recharge the batteries and get back in the studio.
For
right?
sure. Yeah, a lot of people were actually on Twitter asking where the hell you are.
I decided
Recharging his battery.
Decided to take a holiday break from all of that nonsense. I do still love you, Twitter. I'll be back. Probably by the time this episode airs, you'll probably hear from me again.
Yeah, I couldn't stay away. I need to tell people how stupid they are on a daily basis.
Right, and I feel the need to avoid stupidity as often as I can. That's great. Hey, let's talk about cheaters and how they eat pumpkins.
Okay, let's jump right into it because it's a long time frame. The cheating actually first started in the Yankees game on September 5th, 2017. If you remember, the Red Sox used an Apple Watch or whatever to do exactly what Houston did. And this was before Cora was in Boston. He was on the Astros at the time. They were also cheating.
Which it all makes sense.
So, the time frame is interesting there. But what happened was Manfred. He came out and said to the Red Sox and to the Yankees, who actually got fined because Larry Rothschild used Larry Dickhead used a phone during that game and was also caught. However, he was using it for nothing illegal, so the fine that the Yankees paid, MLB also explained that they were not cheating, but you're not allowed to use a phone in that area. So they got fined, and that's the misconception on that one. So what happened was the Astros won the World Series in 2017 by cheating. Yeah, by cheating. Then Cora, who was one of the architects for that, apparently, we're going to find out in 2 weeks if that's the case, but it looks like it is.
I can't wait.
It looks like it's going to be extremely harsh. According to Jeff Pazon,
burn it down.
It's going to be harsh.
Burn it down.
So he leaves one cheating team where he helped them cheat to win, and then brings the system with him to Boston, and they cheated there as well. So there's now 2 tainted World Series back-to-back. And they tried again last year but lost. So,
oh man, this is great. If you're a Dodgers fan, by the way, you have to be absolutely livid.
Clayton Kershaw should be furious.
Yeah, like if you're Yu Darvish, you're probably heading to New York with a gun right now and heading right into the MLB office.
Yeah.
And saying, you give us these 2 World Series, or I will throw sushi at you.
That's really where you went with that one? There was no other option?
Well, normally it's poop, but, why would he throw poop? That's disgusting behavior.
Okay. I completely lost my train of thought.
That's what I was going for. The first lost train of thought of 2020.
Son of a bitch.
It's good to have it. All at the sight of Yu Darvish throwing sushi at Rob Manfred. And Rob Manfred going, no, fine, I'll do it.
Right, because it's got to be like expired sushi from 7-Eleven. He's not going to give him the good shit.
Does that exist?
Yeah, go to a 7-Eleven. I guarantee there's sushi somewhere in that piece of shit.
Oh, fuck that. One time in college, I ate expired sushi. I think
we all have.
I went. Damn, I don't remember what it was. I think the campus actually had like a sushi portion, like a little, not a restaurant, but like they made it.
Yeah.
And like they would package it, but it was like same day.
Yeah.
And then like I went and I was about to buy one, and she was like, "It's from yesterday. Is it okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." I ate it. I was fine. I didn't die. I didn't vomit.
I was watching Shameless the other day, and they did a hobo loco competition to find the best hobo.
Oh, God.
And so one of the events in it was finding food in the dumpster.
Wow.
And one lady brought back expired sushi from the dumpster, and it had cockroaches and stuff in it. And she ate it.
Cockroach sushi. Protein. All right, so what do you think happens? So Passon says it's going to be harsh. What do you think harsh means?
I want Cora to get a lifetime ban. I do not think it's going to go that far.
That would be nice. That would be...
I think a suspension is coming 100%. If it's 50 games, 80 games, the whole season, who knows? But I think he's getting a suspension.
What about players?
They should too. It's really tricky because they say harsh, and I immediately go to what happened to the Braves.
Yeah,
that was harsh.
That's what I think of.
So are we thinking that level harsh or above that? Because I don't think it's going to be much below it. I think this is a serious deal. And in 2017, like I said in September, he warned the Yankees and the Red Sox and the rest of the league that if this shit happened again, what's happening in 2 weeks would happen. So I expect it to be really drastic.
So is there any idea of when this is all kind of going to come crashing down?
Jeff Pazon said 3 days ago that it would be roughly 2 weeks. Okay. They're wrapping up the investigation. They have enough witnesses who gave them all the proof they need. It does not look good.
Man, I wonder who those witnesses are. You think Beltran?
I think
get out of trouble.
Possibly. He's a snake to me. I don't like it. I never liked or trusted Beltran.
He was always a risk for skin cancer because of those moles. I'm glad he got rid of them.
Okay. The best case scenario for the Mets is that Beltran gets a lifetime ban so that they don't have to deal with what a shitty manager he's going to be.
You don't know that.
He's going to be
everyone's a first-time manager at some point.
Yeah, and I didn't like Boone either, and Boone has turned that around, but I do not trust Beltran at all. And the fact that he's linked to this cheating scandal makes me trust him even less. Why is his name connected to this? He wasn't just a bench coach there or a player retiring. He had something to do with this as far as most people think right now. So we'll see.
I think you might be overstating it. I think he probably knew stuff. And I think that...
He lied about it, though. They asked him the first time.
Well, Doy, of course. He just became the manager of the Mets. He probably wants to deflect.
This was before he was the manager of the Mets.
I understand that, but the investigation started... This whole cheating thing first broke maybe like a week after the dude got introduced as manager of the Mets. So, yeah, human nature kind of tells you, let me deflect this. Let me just say, oh, no, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because you don't want this shit on you when you're about to take the helm of a team.
Yeah, I think the fact that Cora has done it for two separate teams in back-to-back World Series, that's gonna drastically shift what he gets.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
That's
because
bad.
it's one thing to do something, and then it's another thing to distribute that.
Yeah,
it's a completely another It's a whole
I mean, honestly, if I was the Red Sox, I'd fire his ass right now before this even got anywhere.
Yeah,
I'd be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have that great a season this year, and everyone was talking about how amazing he was because of the 2018 season.
Oh, he's a fucking genius.
Yeah, and now the Red Sox. What I think is they underperformed. I think they're somewhere in between those two teams, 2018 and 2019.
I think they're gonna go up a little bit this year, but I don't think they're gonna be.
You know what? You're gonna tell me that a manager is as good as whatever his team was that year? He's been a manager for 2 years. You don't know if he's good. You don't know if he's bad. That's the bottom line. And if you're going to tell me that a manager's quality for that year depends on what the team did, you got to dig deeper than that.
Yeah, I mean, even Bobby Valentine had success with the Mets.
Right.
He's probably the worst manager to ever live.
I miss him.
I miss him on the Red Sox. That was the most hilarious season I've ever seen. Every single day was him causing shit in the locker room and pissing off everyone. It was hilarious.
or like going on a radio show and telling the guy on the show that he wants to punch him in the face.
Oh yeah,
That was hysterical too. And then he laughed like a psycho. He was like, "I wish I could just punch you in the face." What in the hell was that, Bobby? That's what psychos do.
My favorite thing Bobby ever did though was when he got ejected from
the mustache. The mustache.
And came back with the mustache.
And then got fined.
It was hilarious. I wish he did it again. And that should be his thing every time he got ejected. He should do that. It was incredible.
Or like not a mustache, but like change it up each time.
Yeah, maybe like a mullet and like some other shit. Who knows? But
or like a bandana, like a Hulk Hogan bandana with like the blonde hair coming down.
There are a lot of ways he could have gone with that.
Big fake boobs.
He's definitely getting suspended for that. Bobby Valentine gets kicked out of the league for wearing fake boobs.
Just so everybody understands, this is a podcast that we would like, people to enjoy without us going too off the rails.
We're ridiculous.
Just know that in my head, this entire scenario of Bobby Valentine wearing fake boobs has gone way too far. And I'm just going to spare everybody.
I mean, I can keep going.
Because it is just insane. No, after the show is over,
Okay,
I'll tell you exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, do you want to go to arbitration now?
Yeah, let's talk arbitration. So a few players are going through their first time through arbitration. A couple of them, maybe could still be breakout candidates, but a couple of them are probably going to break the bank big time. So I guess we'll start off with Byron Buxton.
Yep.
Going through arbitration for the first time. Weird player, man. Weird player. So here's the thing. Byron Buxton has not found his offensive stroke at all.
No.
And, I mean, he's been playing in the league long enough to where you can go, I wonder if it's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
But he came up so young that he's still not that old and could potentially have a breakout
He's
season.
what, 24, 25?
Yeah, I'm going to say probably closer to 25.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, think of how long he's been in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
That's insane. It could happen, or he could go the way of Starlin Castro, and it just never happens, even though he's been in the league for so long.
Sterling Castro is now on the Nationals, I believe. Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
They have made so many random little moves that might pay off. They might not either.
They might not.
Like Eric Timms might be horrible, but he also might hit him 30 home runs.
Right. But what I was getting at is Buxton is so good on defense that the guy can still put up a 3-4 WAR season, despite the fact that his WRC plus, which is a stat I've talked about before, 100 is average. Every value below 100 is 1%. So if you're like 90%, I mean, if your WRC plus is 90, then you're 10% worse than league average.
Right.
His WRC plus usually hovers around like 75, 80. So he's like 20-25% below average offense. He still manages 3 or 4 WAR, just based on his defense.
Yeah, that's big.
And if he was even a league average hitter, he'd probably be like a 5 WAR player every year, 5.5, 6 WAR.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what happened to Andrelton Simmons. He couldn't really hit much. He was always a glove first kind of guy. And then somehow he just learned how to be an okay hitter. He's not like an amazing hitter,
Right.
but he's okay. And because of that, he can really put up some.
What's interesting to me is that with Buxton, what they've always wanted him to be is what Hicks turned into.
Correct.
But Hicks has so many injuries that you don't get to see it as much. But he's the complete player and exactly what they would want out of Buxton. That's the type of player he should be.
Right, and it just has not happened.
Because his range is good, his speed is good, his glove is incredible.
His defense is unbelievable. I see him make some plays that make me poop.
Yeah.
He
likes to poop a lot.
Yeah, well, I don't like to, but I talk about it. I don't think he's going to make a ton. I'm not even going to try to make a prediction. I am terrible at these arbitration predictions.
They're really odd because these teams sometimes fight over like $100,000 gap, and it's like, really? Like, look what they did with Betances.
Well,
Larry couldn't wait to bash him.
So here's the thing, everyone. When it comes to arbitration, teams don't want to go to arbitration. most arbitration-eligible players, the team and the player will hammer out some kind of a settlement.
Yeah.
So if the team wants the player to get $10 million, the player wants $15 million, they'll probably settle somewhere around like $12.5 million.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less. That's what the Yankees almost always do.
Yeah.
They, before Betances, they haven't had to go to arbitration since Chin-Ming Wang. So,
I'm gonna cry over Ching-Ming Wang.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for that. No, dude, he was so good. He could have been something.
He was one of the heaviest sinkers I ever saw.
It was incredible.
So yeah, teams don't want arbitration. This is not a thing teams want to do. Because think about it, man. You gotta as a team, you gotta go out there and you gotta tell a person he wants this much money, but we don't think he's worth it. And then you, as a player, have to go out there and go, they don't think I'm worth this much, but here's why I am. Imagine if that happened in your job.
Oh, it's terrible. You wouldn't want that at all.
So, yeah, that's why...
To literally find out everything your boss hates about you?
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
Right.
I'd rather get a new job than have to listen to that shit.
Yeah. So teams just try to avoid it.
And Larry was really hard on Betances.
Yeah, he was a
little ass.
What an asshole.
And I'm so glad that Larry's gone. He's on Padres now. He's their pitching coach. have fun with Poop Chato and the rest of the idiots on the Padres.
Poop Chato.
No,
seriously. Simply stunning.
No, it pisses me off that they have Tatis and Poop Chato on every goddamn list of being the best infield.
You couldn't come up with a poop name for Tatis?
No.
Don't say Poop Tease.
Yeah, see, it doesn't work.
Neither does Poop Chato.
Poop Chato works very well.
Poop Chato doesn't work.
That works brilliantly.
It doesn't.
How dare you? I spent many times coming up with these names. Man, Poopies is a great one.
How much time does it take you?
A couple seconds, but it's still time. There's a lot of players, so add up all the seconds. I probably spent 180 seconds on all of these. That's a lot of seconds.
You say 180 seconds?
Yeah.
That's 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Tyler Glasnow is another player who's going to go through arbitration for the first time this year. The guy had an incredible season.
And it brings you back to didn't they get Glasnow for fucking Archer?
For Archer. Glasnow for Archer.
And I literally had an argument.
Pirates. What are you doing?
I had an argument on Twitter today with Yankees pinstripes. Or Greedy Yankee? I don't remember his name. We talk all the time. Great guy. Anyway.
You talk all the time, but you don't remember his name.
I don't remember
He's
anyone's
a great
name.
guy, but you don't remember his name.
He knows who he is.
Follow me.
He's got one of those
CJ
profiles where it's just I don't know his name. He doesn't post his name. Anyway, he said, and I agree, he's one of the only people who wants Archer on the Yankees. And we had an argument as to why. And to be honest, none of his points made any sense. You're talking about a guy who has a career 60 and 80 wins, which is not a big deal, but that shows that he's drastically below 500. Whatever. He's been on some pretty mediocre teams up and down. His ERA is close to 4.
Yeah, okay, so outside of maybe like 1 or 2 seasons where he was really, really good, who cares? I mean,
the past 3, he has been dreadful.
Yeah. He's not,
Last year he was 5-9 with a 5 ERA. Why would you touch that? He's supposed to be the ace of the Pittsburgh Pirates, who actually had a kind of okay season considering what pieces they have on that team.
They were in last place.
Yeah, but I expected them to lose like 115 games. They're a terrible team, and they did a little better than that.
I'm gonna go ahead and say they didn't exceed any expectations. They were in last place.
Okay.
They suck balls. He's not very good. I wouldn't want him. He's one of those players that people kind of fall in love with the early success, and then they refuse to see.
James Shields.
Yeah, James Shields. Although James Shields was good for longer. He was okay his first year or so in San Diego. Then he kind of fell apart. Then he became laughably bad with the White Sox. And then the Padres traded him to the White Sox for Fernando Tatis Jr. How did that happen? Speaking of terrible
I don't know how some of these trades happen, because if they had talked to me, I'd tell them that's the dumbest fucking thing you can do.
I wonder if this is going to sound annoying on the podcast.
Okay, I'm the one with ADHD, and you're stopping the show for that shit?
I was just curious. And Glasnow, but he had a very, very good season. It was a real breakout season for him. Again, I'm not going to try to predict a number here, but you can probably be safe in knowing that he's going to get a decent.
Who would you be more comfortable having on your team, him or Giolito? Because Giolito also had a very productive season.
I would. That's tough. I would say Glasnow, only because Giolito is only a season removed from being really not good at finding the strike zone.
Yeah.
Whereas Glasnow was never bad.
Yeah.
But Giolito, for the first 2 years that he really was a full-time starter, was legitimately bad.
Right. Yeah.
So that's me playing it safe. I think Giolito has the higher ceiling than Glasnow.
Yeah.
But it's close. Then we get to a couple of pretty big names. We'll save the biggest one for last. Gary Sanchez for the Yankees.
Yep.
Weird case, man. Really weird case, because he had an improved season.
We're talking about arbitration after this season, or the one going into this season?
So what? The one going into this season.
So this is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Well, because Sanchez, he has recently passed the 3. All you need is to pass 3 years of service time, which is
major league service.
Right, major league service. That's right.
Not organization.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So Sanchez has recently passed that.
Right. Yeah. Got it.
So this one's interesting. So he had an improved season this year from just a pretty poor season the year before. It still wasn't an amazing season. It's still not as good as he was when he first came up. He's really embraced the whole kind of high strikeout, low contact, but just let it rip. Eventually you'll hit the ball far. I can see him getting a decent sized raise. I don't think it's going to be as big as it would have been if he had continued the trajectory he was on. He also gets hurt a lot, and I don't know how much that goes into arbitration hearings.
I think it must go in a little bit.
Because this is the way it works. The way it works when it comes to arbitration is they look at past cases, and then they kind of try to apply how different the money is now. So now they kind of they look at how the average salaries have moved, and then they kind of shift salaries from there for arbitration cases. So they try to find in the past players who were similar career-wise to Gary Sanchez, and then they say, this is what that player got, adjust that for modern money, this is what Gary Sanchez
I also think it helps in his favor that catcher around the league is actually a pretty weak position. I mean,
it always is.
He's an automatic top 5.
Yeah.
But if you look at the drop-off from top 5 to top 10, it's pretty big.
Yeah. Correct. And this is something I also don't know. I don't know how much the arbitration process weighs position.
Right.
So obviously a designated hitter should be an offensive juggernaut. But if that player was a catcher, well, now does the arbitration process believe that that catcher is a billion times more valuable? I would have to say yes. But again, this is all based on precedent.
Right.
It's all based on what players have gotten in the past.
Yeah, and I think when you go into arbitration hearings, the team and the player is going to examine every angle that they have possible.
Right, yeah, I'm sure the player has hired people, or the agent has hired people to kind of comb through the statistics and comb through history and precedent and see what case they can make.
Yeah. I would not do well in arbitration because I don't take criticism well, so I'd end up murdering my boss.
All right, well,
was that too far?
That was a little too far. I would say it's a little too far. I would say constructive criticism is fine. You should be willing to take that.
Bro, I start throwing sushi.
You're not Japanese.
I eat a lot of sushi. What would I throw? Fucking cheeseburgers.
I don't know. What's your German?
My favorite food is sushi.
You would have to throw
And
schnitzel.
tacos.
No, you would throw schnitzel.
Schnitzel. And how German do you think I am?
I don't know. You throw
I'm pretty sure my family's more Polish than German.
Fine, throw pierogies.
I don't even know what that is.
What kind of Pole are you?
Not a good one, bro. I'm adopted. I don't know what I am.
Okay.
I'm from Texas.
Throw guns. Unloaded, just throw guns at people.
That's pretty horrible. Okay.
You eat your last hog.
Do your last name. That's a big one.
Finally we have Aaron Judge, who's going to make $87 squintillion. I think in one season. I think they're going to go, Aaron, you are worthy of $87 squintillion. A squintillion is a lot of money.
Okay, got that. I think that he's going to get a drastic raise for sure. Once he's getting paid now, it's under a couple million, right? It's probably.
I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if it was even $1 million.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure a few years ago it was about 500,000 to 600,000.
Yeah, so the minimum contract was about $550K.
Yeah,
and teams do give. So the way it works is teams before you hit 3 years, teams are just kind of allowed to renew your contract for whatever price they want.
Yeah.
But it can't be more than 10% of a pay cut. So they could potentially cut your pay. They could potentially give you less. What teams tend to do is if a player has a great season, like how Aaron Judge had a near MVP season, they'll go, you've earned another couple $100,000. So I think his second year, he was probably making like $700,000. His third year, maybe another $800,000. And now he's about to go through arbitration.
Okay, so.
In which case, I wouldn't be surprised if he broke the record for first time through arbitration.
What would the record be?
That's a good question. I think so. I know Mookie Betts set the record for most in arbitration. Period.
Right.
I don't think it was his first time.
Okay. So we're thinking that Judge could go from 700,000, 800,000 to 17 million type of thing, or more.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I don't want to put a number on it because I don't know these numbers.
Mookie Betts, $20 million.
It was Mookie Betts first time through arbitration.
$20 million.
20 million.
$20 million.
Okay.
So
If that's the case, then Judge is definitely going to be in that range. He should be.
yeah.
Yeah, he should be.
If he doesn't break it, I can see 20 million happening for him for sure.
And if that's the case, that might actually help us in the long run for his next contract. Because if he's making the money now, maybe he'll be more lenient on staying. I doubt it. Because if someone offers him 6 years, $150 million, he's obviously going to take that because we're not offering that and we're not going to.
Yeah, I think the Yankees are going to be kind of smart about it, but I really hope that, I don't know, I really hope that whatever happens, they don't do anything stupid.
I agree. I'd like to see him retire a Yankee, but it worries me
Yeah,
his age, his size, and his injury.
That kind of
history.
stuff, you can't romanticize that stuff, and I keep making this
Yeah, you
prediction,
can't,
and
you
I'm
can't.
still going to hold to it. I think by the time he's a free agent, I don't think he's going to be a right fielder anymore. I think
first baseman.
first baseman, probably first baseman. You see a lot of big-bodied corner outfielders end up coming into first base. It just happens.
Yeah.
Albert Pujols used to be an outfielder.
Larry Walker, he didn't ever play first, right? He was
I don't know.
always,
I think not to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure he was always in the outfield.
Because I still think he's a Hall of Famer, and that's the debate that has been on Twitter a lot. And
I think he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I
a
think
lot
he
of
can.
people were leaving him off. Heyman left him off.
Yeah, we talked about this last time. I think
Yeah.
we both had him on our ballot.
Yeah.
The ballot that MLB is going to listen to. It's only us. We're the only ones who get a vote.
Yeah.
And I demand that you put in Ronald Torreyes. I don't care if he's still playing.
You know where he's playing now?
Phillies?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he just signed with the Phillies.
2 days ago, he signed with the Phillies. Joe has picked, 4 or 5 Philly ex-Yankees now to be on the Phillies with him?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Such a pain in the ass.
Pain in my tuchus. You want to move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
That's
Let's jump right into the Gio and Duhar debate.
Where do you stand on this?
I'll tell you in a minute.
I don't have that much time.
Quick shout out to Paul Black. Thank you for bringing this debate thing to our attention. You're a huge supporter of Gio. You think that his defense is much better. I don't want to speak for you, but it's an interesting debate for us. I think that we need to give both a shot. I think that what happened was, and Duhar broke records his rookie year and was tremendous on the offensive stance, and he's been removed from the game for over a year, so we don't really know where his defense is. If you look at Gio, he had one incredible season after having 3 mediocre ones. He's known as a defender, but if you break down his stats, he was slightly above average as a defender. He ranked 15, 16, 17, and 18 in most defensive categories for a third baseman that qualify. So what's your stance as far as what the Yankees should do based on these two?
I don't go on a lot of limbs often. I think Gio had his breakout season. I think that this was a more tame version of what happened to guys like Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista. He obviously wasn't the offensive juggernaut, so that's why I say it was a more tame version. But I think he's an above average hitter.
He was a better contact hitter than Donaldson last year. That's for sure.
Right.
Donaldson
Well, I'm comparing him. I'm comparing him to when Donaldson and Bautista had their late breakouts. Those guys were like 28, 29 by the time they had their breakout seasons. Sometimes it just takes a long time.
Batista's breakout was insane.
That thing was unreal.
Insane.
And this was the same guy that whenever I used to see him on MVP Baseball 2005, I would go, why would I want this guy on my team?
Yeah.
Because he was trash.
He did the opposite of what Chris Davis did.
Yeah.
Chris Davis turned 28 and he has hit 100 every season since.
Has he even played?
No, he doesn't even play the whole damn season.
I'd be stunned if what team is he even on?
Chris Davis? He's still on the... Oh.
Wait, are you talking about Chris Davis or Chris Davis?
The one on Baltimore.
Chris.
Not the one in Oakland. He's great. I like him.
Yeah. Chris Davis. Okay,
we're
on the same page. No, I thought you were talking about Chris Davis on Milwaukee. Oakland.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, because he was pretty good, and this past season he really laid a turd.
Well, we really wanted him to get that average for the, 5th time in a row?
Yeah.
240...
247.
247.
That would have been unbelievable. If he had done that, I think I had to kill myself. I think that...
Yeah, it was more like 220 this year.
That would have been the pinnacle of all things. I wouldn't have been able to continue living. I think Gio... So here's the
That's
reality.
interesting. That's what Paul basically said, is that he thought that it was his breakout and is willing to deal with the defense because that's likely much better than Andujar's. Andujar's range...
It's not likely. It's better than
it is, but they had the same sample size, dude. They've each had 1 year to prove themselves.
Not on defense. Gio has had his whole career to show that he's an amazing defender.
He went from amazing to above average.
Yeah, but those defensive statistics can be kind of
okay. So if he switches and goes back to a 250 hitter with no pop or RBIs, people are going to care on the Yankees.
Okay, yeah, but if he goes back to the way he was, so again, I haven't gotten to what I think the answer here is. The answer is, Andujar has options. You put him in the minor leagues. It sucks. Too bad. You had your full year taste of the bigs. No, you don't shake your head.
Nah, dude, I am going to shake my head because he broke a doubles record.
Too bad.
No, not too bad. What he did offensively for our team is part of the reason why we went from being nothing in 2016 to being something.
So you're gonna put him out there, even though
we need his bat. Make him the DH.
Even though he might not be the better option because he's trash on defense. So I
don't think he's trash on defense. I think he's working hard and he might be different.
I think Gio is the better option. I think Gio's going to give more value at the end of the day than Andujar will.
We're in the middle of winter. Why does it matter that we can't go into spring training and see what both of them have to offer right now?
Put them both in spring training, see what they both have to offer. But you're making an emotional decision if you
I'm not, dude.
If you just say we have to put Andujar out there because he broke a doubles record.
I didn't say that at all. I said that we need to look at both of them and see which one is going to be more beneficial to the team.
And the bottom line is also this. Andujar just had surgery on a very crucial part of his body for hitters Okay? You put him in the minor leagues and let him get some swings out there because I guarantee you what's going to end up happening is someone's going to get hurt. Not just because the Yankees got hurt a lot last year, but because players just get hurt. So once players get hurt, that's your time to pull him up. Let him get his swings in the minor leagues. The year should start with him in third base playing every day for AAA until he gets a rhythm. Then you know what? If the guy is insanely hot in the minors,
I'd rather have him as a DH then. We need his bat on this.
But if he's recovering from a surgery on an important
do
part
we know
of his
he's
body,
recovering? Have you seen the video of his most recent workout?
So what?
He's working his ass off and he looks better than ever, dude.
Okay, but that's not live pitching.
Okay, it doesn't have to be. You think that his injury is just going to carry over like that and he's done?
No.
That doesn't make any sense. We're going to see in spring
Hold on
what
a
he
second.
can do.
Wait.
No, you're acting like this injury just ended his career, dude.
No, I didn't. Time out. When players have surgery, when players get an injury, do they go straight back into the lineup, or do they have rehab at-bats first?
He has had rehab at-bats in the major league and stuff.
Okay, sure, but that's not...
You're acting like he's Clint Frazier on his fucking Twitch account playing video games all goddamn winter.
Again, you are misrepresenting what I am saying.
No,
Yes, you are. All I'm trying to say is that the guy who just had major surgery versus the guy who just had a very, very good season,
One good season.
Both of them.
And do hard. Yeah, exactly. The sample size is exactly the same, yet we give it all to Gio.
Perfect. So I'm gonna
ridiculous.
give it to the guy who didn't have major surgery. It's that simple. And then you put the other guy in the minor leagues, let him get his reps in. That way, if he does struggle to start, at least he's struggling for the team.
I'm not going with either until spring training. I will make my decision as a coach.
But then you're making a decision based on some small ass sample size in which he's not even hitting major league hitting at that. Neither of them will be.
It doesn't matter. You'll be able to see what they've been working on. Okay, I think Andujar is going to improve as a third baseman.
I think he will too.
And if his offense is that good, I would rather have him than the question marks I see with Gio. I do not think that he had this tremendous breakout and is now going to be an elite third baseman like a Donaldson or a Renato or a Rendon.
That's fair.
He's never going to be at that level, and Duhar might not either.
He's not going to be at that level.
Bat is at that level right now. And I want to see that bat in this lineup because what he and Torres did got us to the playoffs in that year, when we probably shouldn't have made it. We were in a rebuild in 2016, and the past 3 years have been incredible because of those players. And Duhar is one of them, and he deserves credit for that. People freaked the fuck out when he lost the Rookie of the Year, and now they act like he's a piece of shit and they don't want him on the team.
This is where you and I disagree. The bottom line is this: you think that Andujar is going to be the more valuable player. I just think Gio is going to continue what he did last year.
We got to wrap this up. We're getting close to our cutoff time, so good debate on that. Let's just jump into the last thing, which is kind of a joke before we wrap the show up. But my favorite basketball player, Frank Kaminsky, he's out for the whole year.
What team is he on again?
Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
Right. And they just got back Aiden, so they were all excited that Frank and Aiden they were gonna be superstars.
And now what happened to him?
According to Joe, he broke his wrists, his ankles, his kneecaps, his head.
So he got run over by a truck.
Pretty much.
Frank Kaminsky, press F to pay respects. Frank Kaminsky is dead. Drop an F in the comments below. Drop an F on Twitter for Frank Kaminsky.
I'm gonna send him a nice DM later just to make sure he's okay emotionally and physically.
Are you going to send him a DM with like saucy pics of you like rubbing your crotch and like telling him
his style?
Telling him you want to Frank his Kaminsky?
This is 27 Down, the perfect podcast for the perfect game. Take care, guys.
See ya.